Well, my friends, it's been a while since we've had a Wood Elf game here on the channel, so I figured, hey, let's jump on, let's spam some Way Watchers, and let's have some fun. So as far as the build goes, it's going to be a Glady atop an Eagle, very standard stuff. Obviously, the Pravenoth Rama is going to be pretty good. And if you use the Pravenoth Rama on the Warp Chicken, it actually lowers his missile resist by quite a bit, and you can snipe him. I mean, it's still not ideal by any stretch of the imagination, but nonetheless, Way Watchers are a very, very powerful unit when they're teamed up with the Pravenoth Rama. So to kind of run interference a little bit, obviously Chaos, and this is actually a pretty, good build against Wood Elves. You just go very wide with infantry, they're all shielded, especially the Chaos Warriors with their silver shields. You spam heavy cav. Heavy cav are very good against Wood Elves. You can contest a heavy cav game against like Chaos Knights if you use the Falcon style play. I like to call it, using the the dragon with the Helm of Discord. Getting in there, you lower the stats and use some magical buffs. But nonetheless, I'm going to be trying out more of the old school style of play, which is just kind of spamming Way Watchers, sniping the high value targets, and really trying to grind the game out. But we have two Wild Riders who are going to be running interference, running into Chaos Warriors and Marauders, trying to get some freebies there. On top of that, we do have 3 Way Watchers, and I think that's enough. I think 4 is a little bit overkill. Because again, if they go super wide like this, and let's say you didn't have any cav, for example, just a ton of infantry, those Way Watchers would be extremely inefficient aside from sniping lords, but that's where Warp Chicken comes in. Warp Chicken is so hard to snipe. He's got really good missile resist, and he certainly, gives no shits. So we got a couple Eternal Guard with some chevrons here in the front, Azrai Spears here in the back, one group of reserve Eternal Guards, and a Branch Wraith as well. So it's really going to be heavily focused on the Way Watchers and the Wild Riders. That's pretty much it. So we are going to be unleashing a single volley here into the Chaos Warriors. Just, I couldn't see the Chaos Knights yet, so I wanted to get some value before the main fighting started. So for his army, it's all Marauders, it's all Chaos Warriors in the front line, a couple of Chaos Knights in the back with Lances, which is a really good choice. They can outduel the Wild Riders. They're heavily armored, they're shielded, just a solid onslaught, just pressure pick against Wood Elves. He's got Chaos Warriors, or Chaos Warrior Hounds. I mean, I guess they're Warriors, right? Chaos Warhounds in the back, Warp Chicken, and 2 groups of Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes. And I really like this as well, a very well thought out build. Just in case I came in with like a Treekin build, this gives him some steady AP against like big Durthu and things like that. So let's get the show on the road, guys, and have some fun. So the Wild Riders charging in and certainly getting some pretty good damage. We're able to hammer those Chaos Warriors. We don't kill any models. Actually, we do get 1 model there. And the Way Watchers are really actually punishing these Chaos Warriors despite the silver shields. So far the damage is pretty good. And I'm basically just trying to interfere here, just riding these Wild Riders around, just getting as crazy as I possibly can, and getting some kills in the process. So quite happy about that. But Warp Chicken is going to be slamming in here. And once him and his drumsticks get in there, man, that is going to be tough for these Wild Riders for sure. And it looks like he's going to be using his Horsemen with throwing axes, maybe to actually run interference as well. But I do kind of turn around and countercharge the Horsemen with throwing axes, trying to get some damage where I can. And on the far side, Chaos Knights with Lances are going to be coming in, and I was a little bit out of position. These Chaos Knights with Lances are going to be getting in, so I countercharge with the Wild Riders. I slap them with the Pravenoth Rama, but there's actually a second group right here. And I accidentally send my Eternal Guard over here to fight these guys, and I take a charge to the face. It's pretty bad. I lose about 9 models, but from there, we shouldn't lose too much more. We're going to be falling back. We pull up our Eternal Guard, and we should be able to kind of anchor this back line. Now, over here, it was a pretty bad situation. The Wild Riders get terrified off, but not before they do pretty good damage. I mean, they basically killed this Marauder Horseman group, did a lot of infantry damage, and they will be coming back. So I would say they, almost paid for themselves. Chaos Knights in the back are continuing to cause some pressure. I do use the Melkos Mystifying Miasma to slow them down, and I countercharge them with the Wild Riders, and now we have Spears in here. We have Eternal Guard. They're kind of pinned in place with that slowing effect from the Melkos, and my Way Watchers have, successfully for the most part gotten back. So these ones have 33 models, 43 right here, and 39 here. So damage certainly taken, but we were able to kind of stabilize and get away. And I mean, this Chaos Knight isn't cheap. They cost 1,500 gold. So the fact that I did take some damage, but at least I gave it back, I think is a decent situation. However, my opponent here gets a really good final transmutation, able to slap the Glade Lord pretty hard. It hits some Way Watchers, and it also hits some my cav over here on the far side. So a bit of a tough situation. So we have basically taken out one group of Chaos Knights. The other one is back online as well, having escaped the Pravenoth Rama, but now we're going to be shooting in our Way Watchers. You basically just have to finish off such targets. Just kill these big, juicy Chaos Knights, because they're the ones who are really going to annihilate your Way Watchers. So we're going to get those guys for sure. Poison Hounds or just regular Hounds try and surge in on the flank here, and the Wild Riders plus the Eternal Guard should be able to kind of hammer those guys and pin them in place. In the meantime, the Way Watcher is going to continue kiting back, and of course I have them on manual fire, so they only fire when I tell them to, but despite the fact we've gotten some okay picks, he's done some pretty good damage to our infantry. And you can see our Eternal Guard are starting to kind of buckle a little bit. And yeah, I mean, there's still a ton of Chaos pressure coming in. 2 Chaos Knights are down, but Warp Chicken is still full health. And that final transmutation was really nice. My Glade Lord here definitely taking a bit of a beating. In retrospect, I can kind of see why bringing a dragon would be a better pick. The breath attacks would be excellent at kind of clearing through the Chaos Hordes and Warriors, and plus the dragon's AP would be very useful. But anyways, Warp Chicken is going to be jumping in, going to maybe snipe my Branch Wraith. So the Branch Wraith is fighting shoulder to shoulder with the Azrai Spears. Azrai Spears, of course, getting the Call of of the Wild getting that sweet melee attack buff, so they're actually able to crump these Chaos Marauders pretty hard and maybe able to do some damage against the chicken. So here he does have a lot of pressure coming on the Way Watchers again, so the Chaos Warriors and Marauders are surging up and around the flanks. So I grab my Cav here, what's left of these Wild Riders who are very beat up, and I grab my Pigeon. I'm like, let's go fisticuffs. You know, I got Jack Johnson and Tom O'Leary. Let's get in there, let's fight, let's have some fun. And you can see these reindeer are doing a pretty good job. They're able to beat down a lot of the Marauders, but the Chaos Onslaught is persistent. My opponent has some pretty good micro, getting his forces up and around the flank, just pressuring constantly. Here, our Eternal Guard are holding pretty well. And the Chaos Knights did come back in, but I unleash a salvo of the Way Watcher fire there, able to really punish those Chaos Knights with lances, and the Eternal Guard might actually win this fight. I mean, Eternal Guard have really good AP, and with these chevrons, they're 29 and 52 on their stat line, which is really, really good. But still, this is the big issue back here. The Chaos Warriors are, you know, they're numerous still. There's a very healthy group of 66 right here. I'm trying my best to kind of pick these guys apart, using the Azrai Spears and their mobility to kind of chase them down. We're certainly having some pretty good success. These Chaos Warriors will be, you know, most certainly falling here, because the chicken here in the back, plus the AP from the Azrai Spears, is going to be very, very solid. So it should be able to chew through those guys. They're broken right now, and the Azrai Spears still have 46 models. But in the back, it's getting a little bit spooky. Chaos Warriors are pressuring in, so I have my returning Azrai Spears, or Eternal Guard, actually, and Wild Riders going to be slamming into those guys, trying to butter them up a little bit, and we are able to stabilize the center pocket. Bounce Bar is actually really even. This is an extremely close game, but Warp Chicken is still healthy as well, so that's going to be tough to deal with, and it looks like he's trying to snipe my Branch Wraith. And these Azrai Spears, man, such good leadership. They're fully surrounded, like near death, fighting a terror-causing monster, and they're just going to the bitter end. I have to say, those guys are really, really solid. So in the meantime, there's going to be some Chaos Warriors coming back here, so I'm going to be praying them, but they do have the Silver Shields, which is a little bit unfortunate, but we're just going in for a big Alpha Strike here. Going to be trying to punch them down, just get a punch with the Azrai Spears, and really just butter the sweet bread. So now that they're going to be turning and fighting, if they turn and face the War Dancers, their shields aren't going to be helping them against the missile attacks coming in from the Way Watchers. So trying our best to just slowly and methodically pick apart this Chaos Army as they just kind of push us into a corner, which is a little bit scary. But some reinforcements coming back in. We have the Wild Riders here, but the Branch Wraith is also taking quite a bit of damage. You can see she's going to be running for the hills now, but I think it's actually just a terror route, so she should be coming back here in a second with a bit of a, you know, a normal situation. So these spears are going to keep rotating about, trying to isolate weak pockets of infantry. So I'm just looking for Marauders and Chaos Warriors, trying to isolate them and just quickly kill them with those guys. And there's not too much mobile pressure coming back in. There are some groups of Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes, so we're just kind of falling back and shooting at those guys, trying to keep all the mobile pressure offline here. And we do actually break some Chaos Warriors here. 38 models, that's actually really big. So we're able to break those guys, still just taking out these mobile threats. And at this point, it's kind of just like fire at will. It's like that scene, you know, in like all the movies when the chaos erupts, like quite literally in this situation, you're like, ah, just fire everything you have at random targets. That's basically what it's devolved to. And yeah, we're going to see how it goes. So here on the low ground, the Branch Wraith is going to be popping that sweet Earthblood, and Wild Rider is going to be coming in trying to salvage my caster, because if my caster can get back kind of, you know, to the main core of infantry, that's going to be very useful. Eternal Guard are breaking, unfortunately, though. Those Chaos Warriors are persistent, and my Azrai Spears are getting worn down. A little bit of friendly fire, but these Chaos Warriors are actually shaken at 7 leadership. So if we can break them, the Azrai Spears should be able to kind of chase them away and get some pretty good value there. Glade Lord is able to finish off some Marauders on the Pigeon, and she's up to 56 kills, and most of those kills are actually in melee. I probably should use her more like up in the air to kind of shoot a little bit, but I felt like I just had to. There was so much pressure coming in on the ground here. Some Chaos Warriors were able to rally, and their Silver Shields really paying huge dividends this game. You can see here these guys are going to be getting pounded a little bit, and yeah, I mean, but nonetheless, they're absorbing ammunition, which is really valuable. And you'll see the bounce power actually starts to ebb in my opponent's favor a little bit, probably due to that Final Transmutation, which was overcasted. So he literally cast no other spells that game other than the Final Transmutations. And as such, if you do that, you can usually overcast like 2 of them. That's going to be relatively standard. So we get the Praven Othram on the chicken. I'm going in for one last kind of desperate Alpha Strike here. You know, he's prayed, his missile resist is going to be lowered, or it was at least, but nonetheless, we don't do enough damage, and my chicken is going to be sent running, 89 HP. Branch Wraith is going to be coming back in, but this is going to be the last stand of the Way Watchers. As you can see, they've been backed into a corner by the hordes of chaos, and Sartorial's coming in, and you can see that the Marauders and all these other guys are going to be pressuring in as well. We get a couple shots here on the doggos, and we're able to get some work, but those doggos are certainly hungry for elf flesh, and they're probably going to be getting them. So right here, the Way Watchers are going to be turning and fighting. They have better stats than the dogs, so they should be able to win, but a lot of pressure coming in. We get a Melkos as well in those Chaos Warriors, and we are attacking the chicken here with our Way Watchers, using the last of our salvos to try and butter down this chicken, and we actually do some okay damage. 300, despite the fact that he has that really good missile resist. And the Branch Wraith on the far side is going to be fighting as well. She's got her branches out, and she's going to be doing some work, slapping up some of these Chaos Warriors. And yeah, we'll see. I think we might be able to get a couple more kills here, but I don't know if we're going to be able to fight back against the hordes of chaos. The problem is the Warp Chicken. I mean, he's such a perpetual menace against the Wood Elves here, and he was able to do some really good work just kind of swarming with the infantry. And the last of the Wood Elves are going to be running back to the forest. Don't blame them. Definitely not fun fighting up here in the snow. We hate snow. And yeah, it was a fun battle for sure, and he brought a pretty solid Chaos build. I think we did an okay job in the beginning, really punching through the Chaos Knights. I mean, we had some slip-ups and a little bit of lapse in micro, but we recovered. We took out the Chaos Knights, which is 3,000 gold worth of value, which pretty much pays for the Way Watchers themselves, right? So, but the issue and the reason why we lost that fight was his infantry. We just didn't bring enough like punch. And, you know, I haven't played a Wood Elf game in probably 3 or 4 months, to be honest. So I'm a little bit out of the meta with him. I'm not really sure what the appropriate build would be. But I think in retrospect, there's a couple things. I screwed up with one group of Wild Riders. I shouldn't have thrown them away that easily. I really needed them to cycle charge in the late game. But number 2, I think I would actually cut maybe one Azrai Spear and just get a dragon. I think the dragon would be invaluable. It can kill the chicken. I mean, although the magic damage does suck against him, but it gives you good punch against Chaos Warriors. Like a single Forest Dragon can just mulch all over these guys. And you could even like find a way to mix in a Forest Dragon if you want to keep her on the Eagle. But I really think maybe putting her on horseback and then getting a dragon, cutting the chevrons would be like exponentially more powerful, like exponentially. My opponent played well. His build was solid, so very well played to my opponent, the great Rosa Fons. I don't know if I never actually played him before, but yeah, he's very, very solid. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that Wood Elf vs. Chaos game, and we will see you guys next time. Take care.